Hello everyone, welcome to the Flavored Life channel. I'm so excited. Like guys, today is such a special day. We're having someone special on here. But before I do that, before you actually see who the person is, if you've not subscribed to my video, I don't know why. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know why. Go and like, go and share, go and subscribe, go and join the family, be part of the tribe. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in for a treat. And so guys, drum roll, guess who I have on here today? With me here is one of the most amazing, interesting female. I'm sure she's smiling and blushing, and I'm really just, let me do the introduction. She's the AI researcher, the AI guru. She's sometimes the beloved sister, sometimes the annoying friend. She's sometimes the covenant beautiful sister. And I mean, um, you guys are going to really just receive light with this session because I really want to just she told me, Favor, you not prep me. I said, you don't need to be prepped, my dear. I'm going all round. I want people to experience the fullness of the flavor of your life. And so without further ado, you guys, drum roll, welcome Arnee Keme.
I'm clapping for me too because I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Favor, for the invite. I really, really appreciate.
Do you want to introduce yourself to our family?
Okay, so my name is Arnee Keme Eko. I'm an artificial intelligence doctoral researcher.
Arnee for short, in case you've not know pronounced.
Arnee for short. Yeah, so you don't have to bite your tongue or anything. So Arnee.
So basically, guys, you were telling us your bio. You started with AI. I kept quiet purposely, so you can tell us, your journey before we, get into the topic for today.
Okay, so my journey, if we talk about my academic journey, my undergraduate was in biomedical engineering, and my master's MSc was in artificial intelligence and robotics with advanced research. And I'm currently doing artificial intelligence for my doctorate degree.
Guys, in other words, that's her PhD. She's the
Plenty English.
academia of our time. I mean, Arnee, I feel like Arnee doesn't. I feel like she does a very poor service of literally like blowing her trumpet. So that's why we are here to hype her. So because I mean, Arnee is good with. She's good with all the tech stuff. She's into AI. I mean, a lot of you are like, oh, how do I transition? Join my channel. I bring that on here. You know how to transition into the tech industry because obviously with a biomedical degree, you'll be wondering how did she do that switch? I mean, if you want to know more, beg me, I'll bring her back. She'll come and tell you for free.
They put me on the spot. They put me on the spot, guys. I can't believe this is me.
So, and I would do how she even japa from Ghana to everywhere she has gone to. You guys stay tuned, like literally all the goodies. But for today, we'll be talking about identity. And I mean, Annie was like, why did you call me?
Why me?
For this particular topic? And I feel like the reason why I thought of Arnee when I was thinking about it, I think because it was the evolution, the journey, because we're currently on a series of identity and self-discovery, and in other words, purpose. And so I really was like, okay, I want someone to really just break it down in terms of how did you find yourself? Who is Arnee? I think we should start from there. Who is Arnee?
She's asking me a lot of deep questions here. But I would say that in one word, please, guys, English sometimes fails me. So my apologies, just in case I get hooked up somewhere. So I would say that I'm a multifaceted individual. So I have different dimensions that come together to bring about Arnee. Besides the academic and the PhD and everything, besides the girl that everybody thinks that loves the book, I am an entrepreneur at heart. I love entrepreneurship, business. That's where you'd find me. And so over the years, I've tried to see how can I have a healthy balance between business and entrepreneurship.
I think where I want to start with, and guys, I know we're talking identity. I know we started the series and we're really deconstructing who we really are beyond the titles, beyond everything. And so I really want Annie to, open to us. Who is Annie? So if I want to really, who is Annie? Who is she? Can you introduce us to her?
So I'd say that I have many aspects to me,
Okay.
many dimensions, many expressions of Annie. So aside the academic aspect that a lot of people maybe get to see, um, would I say my forefront or as my identity, at heart, I am an entrepreneur. If you know me, if you just speak to me, you'd know that I live and breathe entrepreneurship, business, and everything. So I try to see how do I make a balance between my business and academia, because I found that, growing up, some people are like, oh, if you're going to be a business person, you'd have to drop out of school and all of that. Oh, somebody who has a PhD is most likely going to go into teaching and all of that. So I think for me, it was going into places and into areas that not a lot of people would normally go into, like the artificial intelligence, and getting up to the peak, but also seeing how can that be tied up into entrepreneurship and how can we maximize both worlds. And beyond all of this, I would say the bedrock of everything about me is on God. So that's key. If you see me serve like I'm not a student, there's no PhD, there's no business, there's no nothing, it's just me and my Jesus. So there are a lot of dimensions to me.
So if I strip off entrepreneurship, I strip off business, I strip off ministry service, at the core, it's her and her Jesus. I like the way she put it because I remember in one of when we're discussing identity, one of the things we discussed was when we strip off the layers and the titles, who are you? Because when you're not able to define yourself from that context, you struggle. Because then if there's no entrepreneurship today, if there's no businesses tomorrow, if there's no degree or PhD next tomorrow, what do you have? A lot of people, because we find people how maybe you've been a mother for so long, or yeah, like your
Yeah.
wife or you marry, and everybody like there's a plan, like after school, or not before 25.
No, before 25.
Guys, by the
Inside
way,
joke.
I would drag her.
Inside joke.
Annie,
Inside
should we go
joke,
there?
guys.
This is not waiting series, but I would have loved to go there, but it's okay. Let's keep going.
See, you find a lot of this in our conversations. You guys can see, I'm really trying to be serious here,
Let's
but I
be
don't know how
serious.
that's working.
We'll be serious. Okay, so in terms of self-discovery, Annie, how did you discover purpose? Have you discovered purpose? What's purpose? Like, have you entered? Have you journeyed? What is working for you and how did you make it work? How did you know it's gonna work? Like, teach us the journey. Help us enter into the science of you. Of how did you come about, whether it's be business, how did you know you were entrepreneurial? How did you know that business is your thing? Did you try? Did you fail it? Like, I mean, I know the story, but like help us journey because I want to enter into the science of Annie and see what works and collect the principles and apply it to other parts of life as applicable as led.
Okay, so
That's many questions in one.
that's a lot of questions in one, honestly. So I'll just take you people through a few parts of the journey of my life. I think when I was maybe around 6 or something, when we were small children, my sister and I, going to school and everything, primary school. That time they had this sticker. I don't know if anybody had those sticker
Yeah,
things.
on your body.
Yeah, on body.
I'm too old, guys. I guess you're like,
not before 25. But the sticker thingy. So what I used to do, I found out that when you color it, when you paint it on a book, and you put a sellotape and you take it out, some of the color stays on the sellotape. So
interesting.
so for me,
Is the energy for me, guys?
I turned that into a sticker.
Oh wow.
And into books, and books, we had the whole books. And what I used to do was, those days we'll cut papers and everything and staple it and say, oh, we're making a jotter. Because not all children, it's not now that you have jotters everywhere, but
Then it wasn't as
they wouldn't give us jotters. They'll probably give you your book So I used to make that into a jotter and everything and staple it and all of that. So I think that these are things that came with me already. Creativity came with me already. And one of the things I'd seen in my life was that when I was small, when things get broken, I want to open it up and see how do I put the wires together. That's one of the things that informed my engineering.
One thing, sorry to stop you. So one thing we're learning is she's saying there's something already in you. You know how scripture says all that pertains to life and godliness has already been deposited on your inside. So I think one of the things you need to know is, and that's why we keep saying you're enough. You're enough. So regardless of the titles, even if we strip it away, it doesn't change your authentic design. There is something already deposited in you. You just need to find it. But then, from what she's saying is, to find it, she had to explore.
Yeah.
To find it, she had to journey.
A lot.
To find it, she had to find out. Like, so she's curious about something. She doesn't just say, "Oh, I'm curious," and leave it there. She actually journeyed. Like, she's fixing. She's in the execution room. The issue most times is people like, "I think I like to sing." Have you actually broken a note?
Honestly, that singing thing, I don't have a story for the singing. Okay. You know, much younger when I have a lot of stories from when I was small. I think a lot of the things, a lot of things that I do now, I started them when we're quite small, and that's the thing about people who have children and people who are going to have children. You need to know what are your children into, what do they like doing. I remember that those times when my parents would go out, and even when they are in the house, I would sing at the top of my voice to try. And I'm not trying
she still does it, by the way. My ears, guys.
And I'm trying to sing at the highest pitch that I can sing at and try to increase my range. As a child, I didn't understand what that meant, you know. But now, trying to run through different scales and trying to increase my range, I understand that. So
there was
these
such
are
a
things,
wisdom to what you were doing in just exploration.
Yeah. I was just trying to see, oh, how far can I go? How far can I go? How far can I go?
Is there still more capacity? And you just keep, and you don't know that you're actually building ranges and volumes.
So you don't know you're building ranges and volumes. And the more you do it, the higher you go, the better you can sing, the more you can dare things.
And there's no limit.
There's no limit. And it doesn't come in a day.
So why do you think we stopped right now as adults?
I think because we're scared. Sometimes it's fear.
So being a child, I'm not afraid.
You're not afraid of anything. Okay, if I don't get there, I'll try it another time. There were times when I would do, and my voice will crack, and I will go again.
But now we're scared, like, who is listening?
I'm even scared when my choir director is like, sing on this key. I'm like, can I?
Time I sneaked in on Annie's rehearsal one of the days, and Annie wanted to sing, and Annie, we were at the back, we were laughing, and Annie couldn't. She wanted to, you could tell that she could have done better. I feel like all of us were there, we just laughed. She's like, I'm just in her, she's thinking, what are they thinking? What are they saying? Like, I'm on spot. And she didn't know the song. I was not part of the choir, but I knew the song more than her.
My family and friends, they completely embarrassed me that day. I was just like, why are these people here? They want to spoil my singing career. But my Jesus, he will not allow them.
So as a child, you were able to explore. I like that. No limits. Okay, keep going.
And I got into a lot of trouble for it, trust me.
So we should be, so basically, you're saying trouble might not necessarily be bad.
Trouble might not necessarily be a bad thing. What is bad is, what kind of trouble are you getting into?
Okay.
It wasn't trouble like, oh, you're doing something bad.
Okay.
It was like, at that time, these are things that you aren't supposed to be doing. It's just like carrying the stapler and stapling books and all of that and taking it to school. I'm like, why are you doing that as a child? You're not supposed to be doing that. So parents would just look at, oh my God.
But in your head, you were being creative and
yeah.
I mean, why not sell it?
Why? Exactly. Why not sell it? That was me. And, from there, I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I think I'd always seen opportunities in my life. I'd always seen opportunities as a child. So it's something that would I say it's easy for me to spot when I get into a place.
That makes sense.
Oh, what can I do here? How can I make something? What's the problem? How can I make something out of this? Not everybody can see that.
We'll start our friendship, guys. I think we'll do a friendship series. He's like, what's my power of contribution? I'm like, what's this girl talking? Oh, this drama. Every so much, she's like, I need to know my power of contribution in the place, not for me to impact. She's just, a lot of aspire, but she's really actually putting action as well. I'm like, why are you carrying the world on your head? Like, you know. But actually, I think it didn't just start from when we met. I think it's like she's saying from this story, like it's always been there. It's always been
Yeah.
there trying to solve world problems.
The whole problem that
she's
did
been
not
facing.
concern you. It didn't concern you.
He was on his own.
And you said no.
He said no.
This is where I want to be.
She's the real, village life season. The Arnee arrow.
Well, in my defense, some he gave 1 talent, some he gave 2, some he gave 5. So if he gave us 5, why not use all 5?
Why not express the flavors?
Why not?
And I mean it. That makes sense because I feel like a lot of people, the issue really is they think purpose is gonna happen to them. They don't know that they happen to purpose.
You're walking in it.
You just evolve, you journey, you explore. And that's the thing. I think they're thinking that you need to tell them what they have to do. So they just like how job, you tell them the job description. Purpose. How do they, because I think that's always the issue. The issue is always like, because I care people like, how do I find my purpose? And from your story, you're like, we explore, we journey. We don't necessarily know it all, but we understand that something's already deposited on the inside. So you're not looking for something external.
Yeah.
The issue is most times we're trying to use the external to inform the internal. The internal should inform the external. It's the curiosity from the internal, the burdens from the internal that actually signals you that there's something here. So look at the signpost. Her signposts were, I want to check out what the sticker does. Because I did the sticker, I did not think about why I should use stapler on book. I didn't think it.
I make a jotter. Why not?
I might have thought, why not write poetry on the book?
Yeah.
I might have thought, why not maybe write? I remember then I used to help people write Valentine. Those love Valentine stories. So I'll write love pens for you. You give it to your girlfriend. Because I used to actually call myself the love doctor. I didn't know that doctor will actually become a reality. But I used to call myself the love doctor, and the love is loving. I'm the lover of Christ, I say love being that I am. Story for another day. But okay, I think if we move on and scale a bit. So under self-discovery. So how did you know that you wanted to do biomedical science or even AI?
Okay, so for biomedical science, it's quite a tricky story. I'd say that I wanted to do engineering. I think I've said the story about how I used to sort of put things wires together, sort of see all of that. So a part of me wanted to do engineering, but I also wanted to do medicine. But I think that
she's good with maths, by the way.
So I think that for medicine, I was quite. So when I saw a course that fits right in between, I didn't have to choose. I'm like, I can have the medical, some parts of the medical, and I can have some parts of the engineering. And right from when I was small, I've always liked to do hard things. So the things that
I like something. I don't like that.
I may cry in the process, but trust me, I will wake up and I'll keep going. So when I picked biomedical, I was like, okay, at that time in Nigerian universities, I didn't see any school that had the biomedical engineering.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, and I also want to explore somewhere else. So why not do that? And it has both worlds that I need. So that's how I chose that. So when I came to AI and robotics, when I had the opportunity to do my master's, I looked at it and I said that where's the future going? I also like to be futuristic as much as possible, think 10 years from now. So at the time when I was to make the choice for my MSc, I was thinking,
where are we headed?
Medical devices have moved into robots for surgeries and different things for drug delivery. So why stay in a place where it's going to be moving? Transitions are going to happen, and in the next 10 years, yes, it's not going to be irrelevant, but there's something better, there's something higher that you can do. So why not try it?
Why not pioneer the
Why not pioneer the move? At that time, AI was coming up, but it wasn't a buzz like this year that everywhere everybody's talking about AI and everything. ChatGPT, but that's like 4 years ago. People were not so many people were
It's like how
thinking in
Zoom has
that
actually
line.
always existed, but people did not know until COVID.
Yeah,
But if they were not thinking in that line, there will be no Zoom.
exactly.
So you always need people that will go see
That
it
will
and go ahead.
see it and go ahead.
Apostolic movement. She's an apostle, by the way.
So those people and I think one of the things that has helped me is that as much as I know that new territories come with challenges, a lot of times I'm not scared to go into a new territory.
So my next question, why UK? Because you were formerly in Ghana. So why did you move to the UK?
Why did I move to the UK? So I had options. So when I looked at it, I looked at quite personal. I looked at one, being close to home. I'm a home person. I go home every year.
You
Sorry,
do?
guys. Yes.
Actually, have you?
Yeah, I go home every year.
Okay, fair enough.
So
maybe that's why we're friends. Who knows?
So 6 hours flight back to my house, and then I looked at where can I maximize my opportunities in terms of the things that I want to do.
So she didn't hear, go here to the UK, honey.
And also parental influence. I'll say that my parents,
okay,
if there's anything I would thank God for in my life, is parents that pushed me. Because initially at first when they said go and do an MSc, I was like, why do I want to do a master's degree? But I was like, oh well, if I'm going to spend my parents' money, I might as well spend it well, on something that is futuristic. So I think my story for the UK is not that aha moment. Oh, I heard, come here to the UK. You have to go now or never. No.
And it doesn't invalidate those that hear. I mean, I'm one of the hearers. Always a hearer, and a doer.
For me, for this particular masters, my parents said for me. So
she didn't even want to do it. She not, I feel like also the fact that she didn't send, let me not go there, but the fact that she was not necessarily sent, but she was forced, made it longer.
I wasn't, point of correction, I wasn't forced.
My question, let me ask the question, guys. Annie, how long is your master's in actuality? How long is the master program?
The what?
The master. And then how long did you do the master's for?
So my master's was for 24 months.
I like the way she's using months.
29 months in paper. And I got an extension for my project.
Okay.
And
she ended up doing like almost 3 years.
Thank God, because that's why I'm doing a doctorate right now. Because artificial intelligence, I can remember how many times I cried.
Yes, she did.
In my master's, I'm like, oh my God. I remember when I wrote my first exam. Oh my God. I told my parents, I can't do this anymore. Whatever you see in this master's, you take it. And can you imagine?
And here we are.
3 years later, here I am, chasing a PhD in AI.
Fully sponsored, guys.
Who would have thought, honestly, fully sponsored?
That's also another journey. I feel like
that journey is...
I feel like these people need to beg me to bring you to how to gain scholarship from international university.
Yeah.
And all of that.
And how to hear. That journey
and how to hear. Because remember that there was just a whole process. And I feel like that's a whole year. People do a series on hearing. How to hear God. Because I talked about sending. You know how I say people do Japa? They'll be like a Japa series where people are like, because people just come into the UK, they'll be hustling, and I'm like, this is not really the plan. Because how far has been the journey, like UK wise? Because you talked about why we got here is because you talked about territories and how even when it's unfamiliar territory, you're not free to enter. So that's why I actually asked you, why UK? And now that you said, it happenstance. So what changed? Because I'm sure there was a transition in the process of how you now even saw the country and all of that. So when you entered and you were just coasting through at the beginning, if you were, when did the turnaround happen? What changed and how did that change? I remember there was a shift of season when we met as friends though, but yeah, I keep going.
I forgive you already. But okay, so for me, I had stayed in the UK. I think at some point I thought I was going to leave the UK, But where the transition happened for me was sometime in 2022. After my masters, I hit a rock. I hit a rock where it was about visa and about.
Oh, that's where it changed.
That's where it changed.
Are you serious?
That's actually where it
So all
changed.
the time you be considering, you
All
just
the
be
time.
following us through.
All the time I'd been
Guys.
considering UK.
My friendship contract, I renegade on it.
At that time, that's where it changed, because at that time I had to go back to the drawing board. Now there are challenges that come to shift you to the next level and to make you question your purpose and see, why should I be in this territory, and validate your reasons for it. Previously it was my parents liking UK and wanting me to be in UK,
But your why wasn't clear.
But my why wasn't. I didn't have this is where I should be, and all of that. So, but in 2022, I made that choice after a series of events and everything, and after staying in stillness with the Holy Spirit, because there are times when you're everywhere,
and everybody was everywhere. Just, I mean, to put a bit of context, she was finishing her program. Her visa was about to run out, and she was actually happy to go. Then she heard the word,
and I should stay.
Me, where I was going, because she would tell her story. But then where I was going was that I remember one time we had a guest over in the house, and the person literally goes, "Why have you not done anything about it?" And he made us so and we were just on board. Like, this was, I think Arnee had like less than 30 days in the country, and we were looking at him and like, "Oh yeah, it's running out in 30." It's like, "What? How can you guys do it?" And we're both laughing. We're even bothered. Like, it's funny, and people you talk to your friend. I was like,
my journey. It's the journey.
It was the journey, actually. So
that journey.
And tell us your story, because I think if that's where purpose was birthed for the nation, it'll be good to press through that.
Okay, so in that season, I had to have a why UK.
Okay.
And I had to know why at this time, why artificial intelligence? Why do you want to do a master's in AI? Is it just for bragging rights? Is it just because AI is the next big thing? Or is there an agenda that you can use to, what can you help do in the kingdom with AI? So that's where everything for the UK was birthed. And then I realized that for the next 5 years in the UK, for the next 5 years of my life, I would have to be in the UK. And I also saw the things that I was doing at that time. Now, like Favor said, purpose doesn't happen to you. We walk in it every day with the choices that we make. So what choices are you making now?
That defines purpose for you per season.
That defines it. So for me, I had made choices that put me in a leadership front. And it's just like having a baby. You don't just drop your baby and up and move somewhere else. You're in a season where you are, or will I put it like a season where you are birthing something.
You fully
so
birth.
You're birthing something. So in the season where you are birthing something, you know that you have carried this for 9 months and you're about to birth. That's not the time to close up and say,
"They're calling from the village.
I'm going somewhere else." So no, it wasn't the time for me to do that. Now, like Favor said, maybe in another series we'll break down all the series of events and everything. But that was it for me. I felt like that was a season where I had to push through, no matter how painful it was.
And it was painful. Because there were moments where Annie was just like, you know what? I think her mother would give her time. Like, her mother said, it was my birthday, I think. She said, if by my birthday you were not out of the country, or you not telling them your plan,
you don't have a visa, buy your ticket,
come back home. And the thing was, it was not even about coming back home. We were not even scared. Like, I don't think coming back home was ever the problem. It was never the problem, But it was just the fact that
that wasn't what
God wasn't giving the release to go back home.
It wasn't what to do in that season.
And the funny thing was, I feel like up until that moment, it has been coasting. But then now it's time to now leave. God is not like, okay, now I got you. Like, this is now where I want you to be. It was funny. I think for me, it's the journey. It's the journey. It's always the journey, because purpose is the journey. it's you unravel as you go. You unravel as you go. And if you're trying to think that you're gonna find it all in one day, you might be right, you might be wrong. I mean, some people are lucky. God can come and tell them that this is what you do in the next 15 years, 20 years later, you do this, 30 years, you do this, you go to that country.
Some of us,
Some
we
of
move,
us,
we run.
we run, we move. Sometimes we fall, sometimes we pick it back up and we journey because we also, when you're also multidimensional, can you speak into that? You know, when someone like, oh, this is my purpose, then you see that thing. Okay, no, no, it's this. No, it's this. How do we balance these multidimensional lifestyles?
Mm. I'd say purpose. It depends on how you want to put it.
Okay.
At different times, there are different expressions or there are
Demands
different
of season.
expressions and different demands in
Each
in each season. So per season, you have to know what's the strategy. It's not necessarily that your purpose has changed. It just may be that the strategy is different in that season.
David was always a king, but then
Strategies were always different.
in terms of war battle,
In terms of battle,
in terms of
what's
even
it
what
to
he
do?
was gifted with.
So sometimes he's going to praise, sometimes he's going to sacrifice, sometimes he's going to go to battle.
They did not change him and say, okay, somebody king is not a singer only.
Yeah.
Or is not a psalmist or a warrior only. He didn't change his kingship.
Yeah, but you can see that he had a lot of ways, vehicles in which to
Express whatever God
express,
wanted.
yes, and would I say fulfill the purpose for which he was brought. So sometimes it's not really the assignment that's people's questions is, I'm doing this, how do I tie it to what I've been asked to do? Some people lose their identity in that.
Some people lose their identity in assignment.
Some people lose their identity in assignment, and some people lose their identity in the strategy per season.
And they camp.
So you need to know when to move, and I think that's one of the things.
Transitions. You guys, that series, you better stay.
Transitions.
So how to know when to stop, how to know when to move, how to know when to transition, when you know just for an incubating period, that is after this and it's up. How to also know when to stay. You see how she's like, everything in her wanted to leave the UK at that point. But that was now when God is like, the baby's about to be born. They're not going anywhere. You know, transition is critical because if you make an untimely move, it can cause, is it abortion or stillbirth? It can cause any.
And in those seasons, you need to know the people that you are talking to. We're not saying throw caution to the wind. You need to know the people who you're talking to in that season. You need to know the sensitivity of the people. You need to also read the room and read the atmosphere.
Yeah.
A lot of people downplay stillness. I feel like in those seasons, that's where I really tried to be as still as possible. Don't touch my morning. Don't call me anywhere. I'm not going. And the thing is that our spirit is so noisy that it's not like you do not know what to do. It's not like you are not aware of your purpose. It's not like you're not aware of those things. But because your spirit is too noisy, because your mind is too noisy. Now, some people may think that, oh, this is just a biblical thing. Check it in every sphere of life, in every aspect of life. They tell you meditation. The thing is that if you're able to quieten your spirit, you would be able to stay in stillness, stay in your thoughts, focus. What am I thinking of? What is moving me? What are the things that are around me? Because in every season that you are, there are going to be indicators. There are life indicators.
Even
you
in
can
finding
see.
Identity, you know, there's also indicators because, you know, to be able to know what you like, you need to be able to articulate it by actually that stillness thing of, okay, what triggers me? What makes me excited? What fuels me? What takes me to my flow zone?
Yeah.
How am I gingered? How, you know how you're like, your mornings for you know how that's your sacred time. And I'm like, even if the world is dying, just text Arnee. Don't go to her room if you know me. Except we have planned prior to that. We avoid it as much as possible. That's her morning time. My morning time also is precious to me. I just want to sleep. She wants to crack her head. I want to sleep. My night time is my time to crack her head. But then those are the moments where I'm able to notice the indicators most.
Yeah.
So actually, like you're saying, like the indicators are actually your pointers to wherever your life direction is.
Yeah. And what are you doing though? Because in that season, I had Okay, we're talking about the transition season where I moved from my master's to my PhD. In that season, I was in meetings, trying to get a PhD and everything. And we're not saying sit still and fold your
Oh
hands.
yeah, it was strategic. You had to
So
go.
I had to do a lot of things in that
And it was
season.
some
So
exploration. Because we said we wanted to do a business, and then we said we wanted to see processes, and then you said you do one side of the business. I said I'll do another side, and she entered purpose.
so so I had meetings. I was trying to get my PhD, doing interviews and all of that. So in all of that, those were indicators that, girl, you're not supposed to be out of the UK at this time. If you're out of the UK, and I had started doing a lot of things in ministry that I realized that at that time it would have been a distraction. It would have been a distraction. So you need to know what is going to accelerate my life or my purpose and what is going to distract
You know
me.
what? We're gonna do a part two. I think let's not enter that gist, So guys, do like, do share, do subscribe. If you want to hear more, hit the comment section. We will give it to you. Don't worry. We're here for the long
Stay
run.
tuned.
But thank you so much, Annie. Like where I feel like this was such illuminating. I feel like we need to actually have a part two because I don't want us to rush the processes so people can really get the juices of the journey. But thank you so much. We are so excited to have you on. I've heard you on here on the Flavored Life channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, this is bye from us till
Bye.
part two.
Till part
Bye.
two.